the college football experience, Nevada Wolfpack 2023 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks, brought to you by our very own Patreon. Yes, score exclusive perks and content available only to our patrons at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. Once again, that's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. So check it out. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
Hey, this is Eric Metcalf. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience, Nevada Wolfpack 2023 season preview. I'm excited. I'm freshly back from Mountain West Media Day, so I feel like I know these guys. I got to root for them, right? I'm excited to talk Nevada Wolfpack football. Shout out to the city of Reno. All right. City of Reno. It's look, it's a little off the beaten path, but hey, you can have fun in the great city of Reno.
I've never heard more pandering in my life.
Perhaps you're wondering just who the hell you're listening to. My name is Kobe Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. Would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
Oh yeah, buddy. I've been to the great city of Reno, Nevada. All right. I might have been in a casino or two with some bullet holes, but I had myself a good time. Didn't let that ruin it for me. All right.
You know, underrated place in terms of physical beauty, surrounding physical beauty.
You got Lake Tahoe within like 40 minutes. It's actually beautiful. You know, it used to be like a Hollywood hotspot in the 70s, but now it's a college football hotspot. All right.
Well, it's a meth hotspot.
Yeah. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi.
Let's get it going. People don't know that Nevada. So as a kid growing up in the DC area, in the late 90s, when my dad brought home a DirecTV, I was like, oh shit, wait, we got the Hawaii games on at midnight. But for some reason, one of the networks would also cover Nevada. So I watched a lot, and they were just jumping up to the FBS. And Chris Ault, legendary head coach, who I later read that Joe Gibbs, the Redskins old coach, modeled a lot of his offense over Chris Ault, and what he did, invented the pistol offense. So they were very good. I remember they had this baller wide receiver named Alex Van Dyke, played for the Jets later, was a second-round draft pick. And then, Ault left, he retired, and then came back. And then that's when they had Colin Kaepernick and that great one ruined Boise season. It's a rich program there as far as football culture. We're going to talk a little more about it, but we are joined by special guests. Been wanting to get this guy on the show, and it's funny because he hit me up. I was like, I'm trying to get on the show. You got any North Carolina schools, Virginia schools? And I was like, how about Nevada? All right. How about, but give it up for you've heard him on the NBA Gambling Podcast. You've heard him on the MLB Gambling Podcast. He also writes a ton of college football content. Give it up for Lonte Smith. How you doing, Lonte?
Man, I'm doing good. Honored to be joined by you guys. Joining you guys, man. Like I said, I know I was telling Kramer and Sean, I was like, yeah, man, if you got anything available for some college football content, let me know. And it was like, hit up Kobe. I was like, man, Kobe's probably tired of me hitting him up every college football, college basketball. So yeah, man, I'm honored to be on here with you.
Well, now that you're on, man, it's beware what you wish for, man. I record about 1,000 podcasts a year. All right,
man, I'm ready, man. I'm ready. Like I told you, I got the spreadsheets ready for every team, no matter who it is.
Yeah,
your calendar just filled up.
Yeah, your calendar just filled up. You already told me, Dominic Davis, who is a former ECU quarterback, and I'm like, this is the thunder and lightning here. Let's go. No, I appreciate you hopping
Yeah,
on,
man.
and I enjoy the fact that I just threw him. I'm like, oh yeah, you went your North Carolina. Here's fucking Nevada.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Here's Nevada. But hey, I mean, this program has it's been a really good program. I feel like last year, obviously, Patty C ate a ton of shit on locking them up on the over. But you know, they're historically, Jay Norvell had them playing pretty good. I had the opportunity to talk to Norvell at Mountain West Media Day last week in Vegas, and I got a chance to talk to Ken Wilson. So obviously when Norvell left, and I know Chris Ault, they asked, who they should hire, being that he's a legendary coach there in Reno. And he was mad. He was public about what he said. Jay Norvell, he's like, he left for, the same position, but in Colorado. He's like, if it's a P5 school, I understand.
Lateral move all the way.
Now the knock against that is like, and I love Chris Ault, but at the same time, more money is fucking more money, right? I mean, I feel like,
that ain't a lateral move.
Yeah,
move
it's
at
like,
that point.
come on, this is we're capitalism 101 here. Anyway, Chris Ault recommends Ken Wilson, who was a longtime assistant in at Nevada from what I think like 1988. I think it was his first. No, 1989 was his first year in Reno. Was an assistant all the way to 2012, and then he went and worked for our boy Mike Leach, may he rest easy, for 6 years at Washington State, and then the previous 2 years after 2019. If that makes sense, previous 2 years after. But he was with Mario Cristobal and the Oregon Ducks for 2 years. So he comes in, and if people don't remember, when Norvell left from Nevada to Colorado State, he took like the whole roster with him. That's the new thing in college football. It's like, I am leaving. And it's like, and guess what? Everybody's coming fucking with me.
At the FCS level too.
Yeah. So, I mean, as much as, we're a Mike Leach podcast, I forgot the bobblehead's gone, but that's a tough thing to walk into. First head coaching stop ever for you. And then the fact that the whole roster's gone, you know what I mean? So he's quickly adding guys left and right. I had a chance to ask Coach Wilson. I asked him, just last week, I said, hey, so what do you think the problem was last year? He was like, well, the problem was, he goes, it was me. He was like, first time coaching. I don't think they understood what I wanted on offense and defense. So I'm going to put that all on me. But he goes, I can tell you this, we were more active in the portal because you can't live in that old mindset of like, we're just going to build it up. You're going to build it up. And I thought he said the right things to me. Now it doesn't mean that all of a sudden I think this is a team that's going to win the Mountain West, but it made a lot of sense when he was like, it's on me. I was learning how to coach as a head coach for the first time. And I think I'm going to be better at it this year. And I also think my roster is a lot better because they understand what I want from an offense and defense perspective. And also we added more guys that I think fit that model. Does that make sense, Patty C? Are you buying in, or is that just, him just doing shtick?
Well, you had mentioned that he had been in an administrative role at
used associate athletic director for 4 years, 99 to 2003 for Nevada. This guy's like Nevada through and through, so.
Well, in that regard, I feel like he should have had a little bit of the administrative element of the head coaching job already dialed in, but those are two different jobs.
Oh, well, when he was there in 2019 to 2003, you probably got like one transfer. Like now it's like, wait, I got to get 40 guys. You know what I mean? Like,
but that does, that is an important skill within the transition from coordinator to coach or head coach is the administrative. In fact, I feel like that's the entire skill that you have to add on to what you already had. And so, maybe there's like a little learning curve, but he did step into a pile of shit essentially with a completely barren cabinet.
You locked up the over, Patty C.
He's going to point that one out.
You lost there, but do you feel like, hey, they were 0-8 in conference, 2-10 overall. You still give them a pass for the first year?
Sure. I mean, very, very tough situation to walk into. Even Jay Norvell was 3-9 in his first year.
So Lonte, what'd you make of Ken Wilson's first year? Obviously not the greatest record, and a lot of they lost to an FCS. Yeah. So they really had a tough year. What'd you make of it?
Yeah, so I thought you guys hit it on the head. I mean, it's tough to come in first year as it is, but then you come in the first year and you don't have anybody to start with. Like Jay Norvell takes everybody with him to Colorado State, so he's kind of like on the back end, like he's starting off on a bad foot already. So I think that they're much improved this year. Like you mentioned, when you were talking to him, they got his verbiage down. They kind of know what he wants to do. And although they lost a couple of key people, mostly on the defense, I think that's his calling card. He calls defense. He's going to get the defense ready. So I think that he comes in. He's going to implement some of his things that he wants to do. He's more comfortable with the system. Most importantly, he's got two good quarterbacks or two solid quarterbacks in right now that'll help out and ease the pain for that. Good running back room. So I think he's going to be much improved this year. I wouldn't put much stock in year one for any coach, let alone one who's starting off with, half of a roster.
Yeah. I think that's fair. It's gonna be exciting to talk about, because I like it when they're good personally. Yeah. I love the teams with Chris Alt that were like, even though it's weird. I grew up liking Nevada because I would be able to get them on that TV network, and I was like, who are these guys that are good? But at the same time, I wanted Boise to run the table that year, just to beat and Boise's kicker blew it to the Kaepernick team that was nasty. Yeah. Right. And I don't know. It was a tough spot because I was like, I love what Nevada's been doing, but I wanted to see Boise make the natty. So it was, I don't know. It was a tough spot, but those teams are nasty. Those Nevada teams. That's what people don't realize. They think that Nevada just upset Boise. That Nevada team was like a 10-win team.
Yeah, they had more than that.
Yeah, they were nasty.
12 wins or something.
They were nasty. They were a good football team. Look,
if
we're going to
talk.
talk.
Was on another team, he probably would have been up there with the Heisman because he had great numbers. He had great numbers.
No, he was the real deal. I mean, look, as much as it's just Sean and Ryan, we could talk all day about, we've had some arguments in the office that they thought he was not an NFL caliber quarterback when all that shit went down. And I'm like, no, he could have started still. He could have started. Yeah. I will argue that now he might not have been a top 20 quarterback, but dude, come on, the NFL, you see how much shitty quarterbacks do you see start in the NFL?
3 minutes, 3 yards away from winning a Super Bowl.
I will argue that now. Okay, if you're saying now, I understand it, but I'm saying back then, get the fuck out of here. You can start on like 10 teams, probably 15 teams.
That team, by the way, finished number 11. If that was in fact the 2010
team. That team was nasty.
13-1, and the reward.
They were 13-1.
13-1, wow. And the reward was the Fight Hunger Bowl. So glad they had their shot.
That's the problem with the system, man. They should have been that's ridiculous. Yeah. Fight Hunger Bowl. I don't know, where was that even played?
Where is that? San Francisco?
That's not a bowl game anymore, I don't think.
Yeah.
They didn't fight hunger good enough, right? Folks, look, we're going to talk all about the Nevada offense, defense, special teams, transfer portal that we alluded to, such a big role in college football 2023. We're also going to go game by game on the schedule, project how the Wolfpack will do in 2023. But before I do that, I want to tell you that the College Football Experience Nevada Wolfpack 2023 season preview is brought to you by Sports Gambling Podcast Patreon. Yes, do your part in the war against corporate gambling and sign up for the SGP Patreon. There's a ton of exclusive content, contests, and merch just for our patrons, plus a monthly SGP Stories podcast. All right, you want to hear about us, Coach Leach, maybe, or I don't know. So there's a lot of good stories out there. All right, it's an ad-free, uncensored show highlighting the best stories from decades of B and D gens. There's even a Discord channel for our patrons. The Sports Gambling Podcast Patreon is a great way to score exclusive perks and support SGPN. Once again, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. All right, we are back on the Nevada Wolfpack 2023 season preview. Patty, see, I was telling you pre-episode, and this is going to be a little bit of a tangent. And I asked you this: had you ever seen a wolf in real life?
I had not. Well, not that I recall. I've seen some coyotes that run around these hills, but
yeah, no, wolf's a different ball, dude. I went. So me and my wife were during COVID just to get away. We went and got like a spot in Sedona, Arizona, which is like the desert, so you're not bothering anybody. And they have a thing called Bearizona that you can go through. It's like Jurassic Park, where you drive, so you can stay in your car. So obviously, COVID not an issue. And you go through all this wilderness where there's bears and buffaloes and shit.
Amazing,
dude. I'm going through, and I had never seen a wolf before, at least that I know of. Right, and we're driving, and we're stopped, and we're just looking at these bears, looking at these other animals, and damn, this wolf looked like fucking Carl Weathers, man. Like he was Carl Weathers and Apollo Creed or something, you know, like, dude, this wolf walks by our car with the fucking deer's leg in his mouth, right? I'm telling you, it was terrifying. Like this, it's not like a dog. This thing was like twice a dog, like twice a German Shepherd, but like ripped. Yeah. Like imagine like steroids.
Cock diesel.
Now I did see a couple other wolves like sleeping, so I didn't know if they were as jacked as him. But man, I'm telling you, I'm so thankful that we had windows and shit, because I was like, this guy wanted to, I would be a rap. Like he's got a fucking deer's leg in his mouth. I don't know where I'm going with this. Besides, have you ever seen a fucking wolf? They're a lot bigger than what you think. You know, you see a coyote, it's kind of like a small, it's like a black lab. Like, you know what I mean? Like where you see a wolf in the wild, that shit is big. It is really big.
Well,
so
the Wolfpack of Nevada are often bigger than you would expect.
I'm throwing this over to you and you're like, I don't know where the fuck you want me to go with this. Besides just watch out. If you're out in the world, if you're in somewhere in Canada or Alaska and you run along some wolves, good luck. All right. Good luck. Anyway, let's get to the transfer portal. Lonte, I don't think you've had any run-ins with wolves, have you? Have you ever seen a wolf in real life?
No, I haven't. Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God. After that story, I don't want to see one. After that story, I don't want to see
running around North Carolina too much.
It's probably some around here though. I will say that. It's probably some around here.
Yeah, probably up in the mountains or something. Like my wife is from Colombia, where they don't really, it's too hot. They don't have wolves there. So the country of Colombia. And when she saw that, she was just like, oh my God. She's like that.
I'm going back home.
Yeah, I never want to be here ever again. So, she's like, I don't want to. I was like, you want to go to Montana for a weekend getaway? No, there's wolves there. No, fuck no. Anyway, shout out to the Wolfpack. Shout out to all the wolves out there. You know, but let's talk a little bit about the portal, because Ken Wilson alluded to this. He thought he wasn't as active as he should have been in the portal a year ago, and he hammered down on this year. But let's talk about what's departing Reno, Nevada. First, Dominic Eldridge, offensive tackle. He's in the portal, hasn't landed anywhere. Wide receiver Keenan Spear Johnson's in the portal, hasn't landed anywhere. Quarterback Jacob Berriage in the portal, hasn't landed anywhere. Wide receiver Elijah Barkley, also in the portal, hasn't landed anywhere. A lot of their guys didn't land anywhere. Tight end Carlton Brown went to Cal Poly. Cal Poly landed a 5-star quarterback in the transfer portal, Damon Hjord's son.
That's right.
Watch out for Cal Poly. Yeah. I'm intrigued. Yeah. John Madden donated like $40 million. That's where John Madden went to college.
Yeah. That's where that whole Madden donation went, is to Hjord's NIL account.
Wide receiver Lucas Prendergast is in the portal, hasn't landed anywhere. Andrew Cannon on the offensive line in the portal, hasn't landed anywhere. Arizona State did land. This was a huge hit, man. This was a absolutely huge hit, because he was, I think, all Mountain West. Offensive tackle Aaron Frost goes to Kenny Dillingham and the Arizona State Sun Devils. Quarterback Jonah Chong is in the portal as well. Also this one too, offensive tackle. Damn, they lose both tackles. Grant Stark goes to Oregon State, the Beavers. Jonathan Smith and company. And cornerback Jojuan Claiborne is in the portal, and I think that's everyone they lost. So basically, you lost both your tackles and a tight end.
Well, are those were those starters? Because I'm seeing
the one the Arizona State was, because I remember everyone, a lot of schools were after him.
I think Stark started maybe a third of the games that he that were there.
Maybe he got injured there a little bit. I'm trying to figure that. Yeah. Frost didn't start though. He's a 4-star transfer. I find that hard to believe on a team that won 2 games. You put the 4 stars on the field. All right.
Maybe that's why they went 2-10. They got them all on the bench.
It's like, I'm out of here, but
he's building for the future. He's redshirting these guys and they transfer on them.
That don't work.
Probably not what happened. Let's be honest.
The brand new day and age, that shit would work 30 years ago. It's not going to work now. They brought in though. Let's talk about what they brought in, because I think they probably won the portal. Let's talk about this. John Jackson III, a wide receiver from USC, coming in. That's always, anytime you're getting USC talent, that's a win.
Although 3 years on the USC roster with 5 receptions, not exactly lighting the world on fire.
Dude, he's got Jerry Rice's son, Brendan Rice, and Jordan Addison, who's in on the Vikings. You know what I mean?
It's understandable to be low on that depth chart. Yeah.
Defensive lineman Henry. Oh man, here we go. Ika.
Oh, yeah.
Henry Ika. Dude, when it comes to the Polynesian names, I'll be honest. I'm not very, very good at pronouncing the Polynesian names, and they probably fucking hate me. But defensive lineman Henry Ika Hifu, something like that. He's now at Nevada, coming over from the Cal Golden Bears. They also brought in running back Ashton Hayes from Cal, so getting a couple guys from Berkeley, and tight end Keleki Latu. Man,
got him from Cal too.
3 California Golden Bears, and then the Oregon. This is one I'm excited about. Running back Sean Dollars coming in from Oregon. Look, Ken Wilson was at Oregon just 2 years ago. Sean Dollars, 4-star transfer. It's
got to be all named.
Great name, Sean Dollars. But dude, I mean, this is a big get for them.
Sean Dollars, what? Now Hayes was the other running back, only 1 carry, 14 yards last year, but Dollars was good for 188 yards, 34 carries, is 5.5 yards per rush. Career, he's 6.4 yards per rush. So,
and he was a big recruit there. So you just got to be happy bringing in that talent. Oregon keeps good backs. Travis Dye was one, like they've
bringing in a lot of
yeah.
Pac-12 guys is a good thing for Nevada.
Then you have Peyton Dixon also coming in from New Mexico, across same conference. Also Oregon linebacker Jackson LeDuc. Anytime you're bringing in Oregon USC guys, to me, if you're Nevada, that's a win. Colorado State, look, you took all of our guys. Fuck you. We're going to get Jarek Robinson, an athlete. All right, little payback. Let's go. Also, Cal linebacker Malcolm McClure. Wait, isn't that a musician? But he comes in. Also, Utah Tech defensive lineman. Oh man, Machiavelli, Malo Tumafu.
Nice.
No F there. I probably fucked that up. He's there though. He's coming in. Safety Trey Weed coming in from Eastern Washington. They keep a decent program up there in Cheney, Washington. Quarterback Brendon Lewis from the Colorado Buffaloes. Okay, look, I like this one because Brendon Lewis, I get it. He struggled with the Buffs, but man, I think anybody would have struggled with the Buffs last year. So get him in the air raid because he's not super mobile, but I think this works. I think this could work. Also, linebacker Adrian Jackson came in from the Oregon Ducks. That was back in August last year, so I'm not sure if he had to sit out or not. But either way, I think they would. Brendon Lewis is penciled in to be their starter at starting quarterback. So even if you lose the tackles, I think they definitely won the transfer portal. What do you think, Patty C?
Well, you watched Brendon Lewis at Colorado. Obviously, you were hoping for more out of him.
But he also wasn't given the best scenario.
No, he's given a terrible scenario. He did 10 touchdowns, 3 picks. That's pretty good.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think he's a bad player. It's just situation wasn't great for him. Colorado got destroyed. Everyone that's sitting there and judging Deion Sanders is stupid to me because if they knew what happened to Colorado the year before, they had like 30 players leave and they all started elsewhere and played like the starting safety at TCU. Played in the national championship. Mark Perry, Colorado got destroyed in the portal the year before. So it was like one of those things you learn. You got to get in this game.
You got to upgrade.
What do you think, Lonte, that they won the transfer portal?
Yeah, I think they did simply because of the quarterback position, like you said. And I mean, they got the other guy. I forgot Illingworth. I think is his name.
From former Oklahoma State quarterback.
It was a big time recruit for Oklahoma State. So I think just battling from there, like competition wise, you're going to be better at the quarterback position. So that automatically raises the floor of your team. And although they lost 2 tackles, I mean, it's tough, but I think they can basically do it by committee. They got a bunch of O-line coming back, so they should be improved. And I looked up and I seen that Frost, he actually got hurt last year. So he was hurt in August. So he didn't play.
That's what it must have been. That's what it must have been because I know I remember reading when he hit the portal. Mm-hmm. You know how offensive linemen, like everybody in the nation, everyone minus like Georgia and Bama are like, whoa, we got a good offensive lineman in the portal. Let's go get him. And Arizona State, I think they might have gave him a nice bag of cash. And congratulations to Mr. Frost.
And overall, I thought they won. I thought they won the portal. They had to replace 2 linebackers. I think they did a good job with Cal and Oregon. And like I said, I'm not too concerned with defensively because of what Wilson is capable of. That's his pedigree defense. So I think they'll be fine there.
That's something that we should mention because we were talking about that a little bit pre-episode. Me and Patty C. Normally, when you get to these teams that were really bad, 2-10, 1-11, you normally have both sides of the ball in the 120s.
Yeah,
not Nevada's defense, and I'm going to get to this in a minute, but charted at 80th. It was not a bad I mean, for Mountain West standards, okay, yes, Air Force charted as the number one defense in the land.
Yeah,
but a lot of like your bowl teams making the Mountain West, their defenses will rely or will lie somewhere in there 70s, 80s. So if they can fix up the offense, you might have something going here. That's a good point. Patty C, what were you going to say?
Let me tell you this. Anytime you're bringing dollars and weed in the transfer portal, that's a win,
right?
That's a,
to Reno too. Come on,
dollars and weed
right?
in Reno is gold or silver.
Yes,
Silver State here. Look, Trey Weed, 6 career interceptions, 3 last year for
Eastern Washington.
Then who was the other stud? I mean, Jonathan Joseph, was it a long time ago for Eastern Washington? No, they had a great Jonathan Joseph.
Cooper Kupp went to Eastern Washington.
No, they had a great corner.
Dude, they've been a really good program. The Big Sky is very good. If the Big Sky did not want to play FCS and jump up to the FBS, they would automatically come in and be better than a lot of the conferences. Like they'd be better than the MAC and the Conference USA. And I think they would be able to push, the new AAC or the Sun Belt, because Montana State, they play ball. Yeah. Weber
all
State plays
teams
ball.
Could come
Eastern
in
Washington plays ball
and play in the Mountain West.
Yeah, Sacramento State. They were undefeated in the regular season last year. Anyway, yeah, I think they won the portal, bringing in dollars also at the running back spot. He's going to start for them. Let's talk a little bit about the offensive side of the ball here, because a season ago, this was the issue, like I just alluded to. They were 119th in scoring offense, rush offense at 104th, pass offense at 112th, and total offense at 122. Wow, that's like so top 10 worst offense. Ken, Coach Wilson, we love you. Mike Leach ain't going to put up with that. You know what I mean? God rest his soul. But look, come on, 122. This offense, though, there's a reason to be optimistic. I feel like if you're a Nevada Wolfpack fan, because, they do get stronger at all the skill positions. Now, they're only bringing back 6 starters. But to me, if you're telling me you're only bringing back six starters on the 122nd offense, I say good. All right, get them out of there. Brendon Lewis at the quarterback spot and Shane Illingworth, as we alluded to, both Power 5 quarterbacks. All right. So I know you could say, well, Colorado is 1-11. Doesn't matter to me. Brendon Lewis is a solid quarterback, and Illingworth also, Mike Gundy, keeps good quarterback play at Oklahoma State as a thing that's kind of been his forte. Sean Dollars is penciled in to be the starting running back. I think that'll work out as long as he stays healthy. I know they lost Tuoa, their running back last year, who was a beast. I know his dad played for Nevada too. Receivers, I'm kind of bullish on the offense being improved because Jamaal Bell is back, and same with Dalevon Campbell, who was the Illinois transfer. They also have the USC kid coming in, John Jackson. So adding some depth there. I know they have Spencer Curtis, a senior, penciled in to start as well. It'll be. I just feel like you can't get worse at the skill positions when you're bringing in these players. Tight end, they are breaking in a new tight end and in the transfer from Cal, Keleki Latu. Offensive line, obviously this is what we circle here. 3 of 5 back that have started games. Isaiah World is the left tackle. He did play 11 games. I think he was kind of thrown to the wolves, as we alluded to with the injury situation from a year ago. They're counting on right tackle Kai Arnerson from who was previously at Oregon 2 years ago. That's nice to have because that's one thing Oregon was known for, their good offensive line play. That's Cristobal's specialty. Left guard Zach Welch is back. Center Andrew Madrigal is back as well. So let me ask you guys this: will the offense be better than 122nd, Patty C?
Gotta be. I mean, what's stunning about this stat sheet, if I'm reading this correctly, they had 7 passing touchdowns last year.
Yep,
that's like a one game for a certain team.
For an air raid offense. Right. Normally that's like one game, right? Yeah. They struggled, man, and I think the real what really was at the core of it was the offensive line. Offensive line was terrible. Curious, Lonte, do you think the offense will be better than 122nd this year?
I think they will. You mentioned the 3 of 5 coming back. They also have 7 that actually started games. They used like 9 different combos on the offensive line last year. I think that was probably like top 5, top 10 in the nation, not just in the group of 5. They allowed 34 sacks, 6.8 tackles for a loss per game. So, I mean, that has to improve. And I think bringing in those P5 transfers, whether they played or not, I mean, you're going to get experience. They're going down a level. It's not like they're going to the SEC or the Big 10 or the Big 12. They're going to the Mountain West. And I mean, we all love the smaller conferences, but the talent level is it's basically it's a gap between those. So I think they'll be well improved. I like the running game a lot more with both of those running backs with Dollars and Ashton there. I think they'll be fine. I'm big on Campbell, the wide receiver. I think you brought him up also. So I think they will improve. Actually, Patty C, I see they have Tua. He had 11 touchdowns on the ground, and they had 7 total passing through the air for an air raid offense. That's disgusting.
Yeah, that's wild. That dude's a baller, though. He stayed the course. Everyone transferred, but his dad played at Nevada. So Pops was like, son, you ain't taking that. You ain't going to fucking Colorado. You are a Wolfpack member all time. Right there.
He's 6th all time in Nevada, Russian. Yep.
I would actually, I would be surprised if we don't see him playing some sort of pro football, whether it's NFL, XFL, CFL, whatever. But he can play. He's dual threat too. So
are they gonna miss the 6'9" frame of Nate Cox being replaced by the 6'2" Brendon Lewis?
No.
Don't think that's going to be much of a factor.
I'm sorry. No. Look, Nate Cox, if you're listening to this, I apologize. But
he's one of the more comical.
Dude, that dude looked like Sean Bradley throwing a fucking pass. Dude, hey, look, I'm not saying he's terrible, but like the offensive line didn't help things. But he was the definition of a lawn chair.
At a certain point, height becomes a bad thing for a quarterback. I think you get over 6'7" and it starts to be like 6'8", 6'9". Has there ever been a good quarterback that was that tall? I guess Dan McGuire was pretty darn big, right?
You're still a bust though. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean,
I think you just get too big.
How tall is Herbert and Lawrence? I thought they're pretty big to be like 6'6".
Like Herbert's 6'6". Pretty big.
Both of them are 6'6".
Yeah, Herbert's like 6'6". Yeah, he's big.
That's probably where it caps. Maybe
I think 6'5" is the prototype, like Tom Brady. 6'6", you're super prototypey, but it doesn't seem to work quite as well. 6'7", you're a big stiff, and then 6'8", 6'9", you're a goofball.
Why is that? You would think if you had like Yao Ming playing QB, you would have that. You'd be able to just look down and see where those advantages are, right? I don't know.
No problem seeing the field.
This is like my conversation that I never understood why a hockey team hasn't got a sumo wrestler to be goalie.
Yeah, that's true.
Why haven't they tried that?
Up 90%.
Why has no one tried that?
And you have like the hands.
Hey,
like you would think.
Hey, Los Angeles Kings, I'm available. I'm available to hire. I'm available for hire.
GM Colby Danover.
I don't know too much about hockey, but I know, damn it, this makes sense. All right. Look, let's talk about the defensive side of the ball because that is his forte. 80th the season ago at defense. Kwame, Agaiman is the defensive coordinator there. He was the cornerbacks coach at Oregon. And he has co-DCs. So Mike Bertha, the other defensive coordinator, last season, as I alluded to, this team 102nd in scoring defense. So you'd like to see a little more improvement there. But the rush defense 84th, pass defense 74th, charting at the 80th best defense in the country. And like I said, if you're a Wolfpack fan, you should be a little more optimistic because you returned 8 on that defensive side of the ball on a defense that was pretty good. 2 or 3 on the defensive line, led by James Hansen at the nose tackle spot and Henry Ikafi-Ifo at the defensive end spot. Patty, see, I say it with confidence. That's all it is. You say it with confidence.
Boom. It sounds good.
Even if you're a moron, less people question you, right? Then you have the linebacker spot. Everybody's back. Everybody's back at the linebacker spots. Drew Watts, Nakia Matelona, Elijah Winston, who was previously a couple years ago at USC. So he comes in, or, I think he was in Reno last year, but he'll come in from USC 2 years ago. Secondary, everyone's back except for the safeties. They're breaking in a couple new safeties in Richard Toney and Amani Johnson. So I think that's where you circle if you're thinking, hey, what's the area that we could be a little concerned about in the defensive side of the ball? But overall, and by the way, kicker and punter back, and their kicker, He's a fucking stud. This kicker made like a 60-yard. Remember, I was watching that Purdue game where they had no business beating Purdue, and they did because they got an onside kick and then nailed like a 62-yarder to win the game. Brandon Talton, keep an eye out on that kid. He might be playing on Sundays.
This defense actually decent in terms of forcing turnovers, 44th in the nation. That's.
I'm telling you, I think they got something going on the defensive side of the ball. Offense is the key to me to like a bowl. But do you guys foresee the offense? Lonte, do you foresee the defense being better than 80th? You think it's going to improve with 8 starters back?
Yeah, I think they will, and especially with the transfers that they got in. They lost 2 Mountain West first teamers, Don Peterson, Bentley Sanders at tackle and linebacker. But I think that the guys that they brought in, Jackson LeDuc and Adrian Jackson, I think both of those guys
Weed also Trey Weed is seeing,
and I think he's slated. I think he's slated to be a starter also. And they moved. I want to say the best defender on the team, Drew Watts. I think they moved him from defensive end to linebacker. So I think he's got all Mountain West potential. I think he can be really good. He had 57 tackles last year, 6 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. So in that system, I think he'll be more comfortable. He'll probably be flying around. He'll probably play all over the field. So I like the defense. I do have a concern at safety though. But those 2 guys were studs. Both of those guys were studs. Tyson Williams, he 65 tackles. Tyreek Mack, 58 tackles, both second and third on the team. They cleaned up a lot of the mess that the defensive line didn't get through. So that's a kind of a concern for me. But like I said, they're at corner, they're pretty fine. And I think front 7, they'll be good also. So I look for the defense to take a step up. If they can get to that, 68 to 70 range, I think that's bowl eligible right there for them.
Yeah. It's funny, the evolution of college football, because I feel like when we were doing this 6-7 years ago, it was like, you would say, well, if they're bringing in new players in the secondary, it's a little bit of a concern, but that's the position you would want to, as opposed to. But now I think it's actually, I think the secondary matters more now in today's day and age than it used to. And the linebacking core is probably the one where you say, sure, it's great to get everybody back, but I feel like a little more. I read an article recently about almost like the running back situation. Everyone talking about Saquon Barkley and everything, and I hear that the linebacker's basically the running back on defense now, and it's crazy. Do you think you're growing up in the era, it was Mike Singletary and shit, Lawrence Taylor? Yeah.
I mean, I could see how, from being emphasized, maybe they, it's easier to replace and find a linebacker that can do what you're asking him to do if you're asking him to do less. But I don't think so. I think maybe it's just not getting the love. Who knows? I know that there are less linebackers.
I would say the pay probably is what the article's base was off of, just like the running back position. But
they got to be able to cover, because if they can't cover the tight end or the slot, then they can't stay on the field, because most teams are running a lot of spread offense, air raid or whatever. So they got to be able to be versatile. And if you're not versatile, it's hard to stay on the field as a linebacker.
That's what I'm saying. It's got to be harder to play linebacker now than it ever has.
So you would think, but
you're asked to do more.
Yeah,
you got to pass rush.
But why is it then that the value from a financial standpoint, I think, has gone down?
It's a good question. It's a good question.
I don't know.
A good question. Yeah. Maybe because they're paying the defensive line more to clean up whatever.
That's true.
They're not getting a lot of linebackers are not getting a lot of tackles anymore, unless you're in a solid scheme or whatever. I think it's relying more on the defensive end, defensive tackle, because those guys, they're getting paid more than quarterbacks.
Yeah. It's wild.
The offense improving alone is going to help the defense improve.
True.
I agree.
True. Just staying on the field.
Just situational
Just staying
football,
on the field. Look, we're going to talk about the schedule, go game by game on the schedule, and try to forecast how the Nevada Wolfpack. Let's see if Patty C will be locking them up yet again. I'm not gonna drop it, buddy.
Pump the brakes.
Look, folks. But before we do that, we want to tell you that the Nevada Wolfpack 2023 season preview episode is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, the NFL season is right around the corner, and Underdog Pick'em is a great way to get down on a ton of NFL player props. And it's available in a ton of different markets, folks. So even if your state's saying, hey, you don't have gambling, call up the old play action fake with Underdog Fantasy. Look, there's plenty of opportunities to win too with daily MLB contests. And of course, make sure you enter the Best Ball Mania, where first place gets $3 million. Wow. I read this ad yesterday. It was 1 million. I don't know what's going on over at Underdog. It's up to 3 million. Let's go. All right. I need to be working for them. Look, head over to underdogfantasy.com. Use the promo code SGPN. I guess in a sense I am, for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's underdogfantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. And look, I'm going to add this in there to help you, Underdog. I love it. We've been with them for like 3 years. The college football player props they have, you can't really find college football player props out there.
Right. Absolutely.
And during the season, you'll hear me reference these on the shows because, man, especially they attack those weeknight games, which Nevada, the Mountain West will play those like Thursday, Friday games. And also the Maction, the Sun Belt, CUSA, all that shit. They have the Underdog Fantasy really goes in detail with those games. Now on a Saturday, you might not find Nevada there, but for those weeknight games, folks, you want to get in on Brendon Lewis.
Action is available.
You want to get on Brendon Lewis over 250 yards against Hawaii or something. This is the place for you. Check out underdogfantasy.com. Use that promo code SGPN. All right, folks. Hopefully you're watching right now on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. It's all good. If not, if you're listening to it, that helps us too. But subscribe, share, 5-star review on iTunes, please. I appreciate that. And look, we not only host the college football experience, we host the FCS college football experience. We host the college basketball experience. Well, college basketball season, look, Steve Alford at Nevada. All right, look, when they made the tournament last year, look, when college basketball season hits, I will be here every single night of the season talking college hoops. Patty C will be on episodes. I'm gonna get Lonte now that he said he's now he doesn't realize what he said. All right.
5 nights a week are definitely booked already.
We got the college baseball experience too. Now we have the Big 12 experience. So we come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience, but all those separate podcast feeds, go subscribe to. Do it all. But look, folks, if you are watching on YouTube, what I was trying to say is shout out to Cam Kerr, our graphics guy, put up this sweet graphic. The win total sitting there on the graphic, you can see it sitting at 4. So can he double? Yeah, more than double, perhaps, because we're gonna go game by game. That should be
a flattering statement there for Mr. Wilson.
Well, especially knowing Nevada's history, man. This is a team that goes bowling a lot of times over the past like 25 years. Yeah. Well, week 1 it's not going to be fun, especially because the fact USC plays a week 0 game. I always think that's such a huge advantage to any of the teams that get the week 0 game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you've already, cause I feel like if you're going to pull the upset, week 1's like the best week to pull the upset because they haven't seen your film, maybe a little bit from last season, but you could make all these adjustments. Nevada at USC, Caleb Williams, he's fucking good. Sorry, Ken Wilson. Dude, I can't. There's no way I could take Nevada even shout out to their out of conference schedule because it was challenging. We're going to get to it, but any of you taking Nevada against USC?
Not a shot.
Yeah, not a shot.
First half spread.
Buddy, I would lay like 40. I would lay like
it's
40.
It's probably going to be around like 35ish like for the full game. It probably I'm guessing like 21 for the first half.
No, it's not going to be 35 for the full game.
The spread?
I think so.
USC is going to blow the doors off.
I mean, dude, the most.
I'm saying 45.
45.
45.
Wow.
45?
Wow.
45.
Well, Brendon Lewis played in the Pac-12 last year.
That's true.
All right. Sup, Caleb Williams? I'm joking. Week 2, man, I'm telling you, their athletic director did them no favors because, folks, Idaho lost at Washington State by 7 last year. They went out and hired a head coach from North Dakota State. And guess what? They had a top 10 finish. And they probably would have won in the FCS playoffs had they not had that terrible tragedy where they moved their home game. They didn't want to play it in Moscow because there was a big time, there was a serial killer thing in Moscow. Yeah, so they moved the home game. They moved their home playoff game, which they earned, to Louisiana to take on Southeast Louisiana. And even that, I feel like they probably should have won that game, but they ended up losing. They have a freshman quarterback last year. Was a freshman quarterback, Giovanni McCoy. This dude's a baller at Idaho. Watch out. Like,
weren't they a doormat just a few years ago?
Yeah, but I'm telling you, they came in. They got that North Dakota State blood, and they all of a sudden. And I honestly, I can't take Nevada here. I can't take Nevada here. Like
3 to Indiana last year.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're good. And that was starting with the freshman quarterback. McCoy's a sophomore now. I'm taking Idaho.
I gotta agree with you.
I'm taking Idaho. I look, Lonte, what are you doing here?
I don't love it. Look, because I know Idaho is tough. Bill Connolly's got them like top 15 in the nation for as far as FCS. So listen, I don't love it, but I think Nevada will get off. They'll end that losing streak. They're coming in on a 10-game losing streak. They'll lose to USC. It'll be 11. I think they get off the snide here against Idaho. Now it's not gonna be pretty, but I think they can do it.
It's just, man, I feel like if you're Ken Wilson, you're like, you couldn't give us Southern Utah. You couldn't give us some of these other. Yeah. I mean, you're like, fuck, man. Like, man, it don't get better because Jalen Daniels, my boy. All right. Proven recruiting to be a hoax. Did you see what I sent you this morning?
I did. Preseason Pac-12 or Big 12.
Not Quinn Ewers, the 5-star. Jalen Daniels, who was what was he ranked?
Like number 1235 and overall player rankings for his class.
Baller out of LA, I believe.
Wow.
Jalen Daniels, I'm telling you, get a Heisman future. I know they probably don't want to give it to a Kansas guy. If he stays healthy, I'm telling you.
Look out.
Watch. He's
probably
fucking nasty, man.
I like the backup too. Bean. He's good too.
Yeah. Jason Bean is good too. So they have depth. I want to take Ken Wilson. I just talked to the guy. I'm not taking them to beat Kansas. I think Kansas offense, they're going to put up 50. They're going to put up 50 on this defense. Yeah. We good?
Yeah. I'm good with that. Yeah. I like Kansas too. They're going to get those safeties to work.
Yeah. I got them 0-3. Patty C's got them 0-3. Now comes an interesting one because they had to San Marcos, Texas. Texas State, they recently fired Jake Spavital and they went out and hired, is it GJ Kenny, I believe is the new head coach there.
Let's double check on that. Drawing a blank.
GJ Kenny. He comes over, I believe, from Incarnate Word. And this is another situation like Mike Norvell, where he brought in go look at the transfer portal for Texas State. Everybody's Incarnate Word. It's like 30 players coming in. So Incarnate Word beat Nevada last year. I can't. I want to. This is a field goal game to me. It is a field goal game. But if this was in Reno, I'm taking Nevada. But since it's in San Marcos, Texas, I'm taking Texas State. I got them going 0-4. Patty C?
They're going to get one of these. They're going to get one of these between Idaho and Texas State. 1-3.
1-3. Lonte, what are you doing here?
I'm gonna give it to him, man. I think they'll get it done. Now, I think he's gonna bring in. It's gonna be some familiarity, being that they played Incarnate Word, so he's gonna know so Wilson's gonna know what to expect. So he's not gonna go in blind. He'll have the experience from playing Kansas and USC to be able to know what he did wrong there. Which I mean, probably it's gonna be a lot that he's gonna do wrong. But I'm gonna give him the win here, man. I'm gonna go 2-2 first 4.
I think you guys just convinced me because you know why? Lindsey Scott. If you guys watch Lindsey Scott, look up his stats. Type in Lindsey Scott.
Oh, yeah, let me do that.
Lindsey Scott graduated. This dude, Lindsey Scott, he doesn't have Lindsey Scott this year. He's bringing in Malik Hornsby, the Arkansas transfer.
Oh, yeah.
But Lindsey Scott
4,657 yards, 60 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions last year.
60 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. This was a former LSU recruit. He's undersized, but he was a fucking beast. So
5'11",
that's why I'm going Nevada. He's not there to save them. He's not there to save them this year. So I think you guys swayed me. Give me Nevada and Coach Wilson to get the first win of the season for me. Second win for Lonte there. Then after that, the Wolfpack. This isn't fun. They're heading to Fresno, California, and look, that's another beast. You don't want that. You don't want that right there.
There you go.
I got Fresno by.
Yeah, I got Fresno.
I'll lay a pretty decent number here.
Yeah.
So going into the bye, Lonte, you got him at 2-3, right? I got him at 1-4. Patty C, you got him at 1-4, right?
1-4.
Okay. They come out of the bye and flag on the play here, Mountain West. Flag on the play. Why is this being played on October 14th? This should be the final game of the season.
Yeah.
There's a real animosity between these two cities. If you go hang out in Vegas and you go hang out in Reno, and you're with someone from Vegas and they, people, I mean, in good fun, they're just going to sit there and say, "Oh, fuck you," but they don't really like each other, right? And this is that trophy. They have that trophy for that big ass cannon. shout out. This might be the
Fremont cannon.
Yeah, the Fremont cannon or cannon. This trophy, fantastic work. Just a giant fucking old school trophy that's on. It's like fucking Civil War era. Even though I know Nevada had nothing to do with the fucking Civil War, but that era cannon, this is fantastic. But I think they can get this one.
Reno founded in 1868. Las Vegas founded in 1905.
Yeah, it's from a fucking DJ.
You got
a gangster DJ, right?
You gotta just wonder though if Reno was like the old gambling town, old Western gambling town, and Las Vegas comes on in and steals their business and completely relegates Reno.
Reno was a gold town, I think.
It was gold or silver, probably one or the other.
Silver. There you go. I think that makes sense.
Either way, Reno. I think
this is a good rivalry. This should be the final game of the season, though. Come on.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
At Mountain West, it's not like they have other rivals that it just doesn't make sense to me why they're throwing this here. But
I don't get that either.
Because they used to play this final game of the year. It's like, I'd understand it if like UNLV was really good and they're like, hey, let's make UNLV and Fresno play or something. But it's like, no, both aren't great. And they have a ton of animosity for each other.
And they're in the same state.
Yeah. They're failing right there. But this is a winnable game, guys. And I know UNLV, Marcus Arroyo got fired. He was recruiting well there. So Barry Odom steps in. But the fact that it's in Reno, that elevation is a lot higher than Las Vegas, man. So, and October 14th, see, they're actually kind of lucky it's October 14th. UNLV is, because I don't think it will be super cold yet. But I'm taking Wolfpack here. Get it done. Give me the second win of the season. Lonte, what are you doing here in Reno?
Yeah, I'm going with the third win of the season, so I'm going to take them. I think it is a coin flip game. I mean, it's a rivalry game. I think they split the last 10, if I'm not mistaken, like 5-5 or 6-4, either way. But yeah, I like Nevada here. It's gonna be tough though. They got the new OC in. He's gonna run the go-go offense that he did when he was at Howard. They actually beat UNLV, upset them as a big. I think that's one of the biggest.
That's right.
In history.
I remember that. That.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So he's there. He's the OC at UNLV. So it's gonna be tough. I mean, but again, harping back to the first few weeks, they're gonna face tough offenses. They're gonna face USC. They're gonna face Kansas. Then they're gonna face Texas State. I wouldn't say it's a tough offense, but they're gonna test their secondary. So they're gonna be well tested for that go-go offense. I think they'll get the win here. So.
I mean, the pain in going to one of the things as we progress as a company, and I'm going to these media days. UNLV's quarterback's Doug Brumfield out of LA. Man, I like him a lot. Now that I know him, I hate fading him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like I like it when they're all like fantasy football characters to me, and I'm not too close. I can just be like, no, they're gonna fucking destroy him, and it's like, no, he's a nice guy, man. I like him.
This guy fucking sucks. Yeah. It's like, that's actually it's hurting his feelings.
Now that you start to know him, it's like, but Patty, see what are you doing here in the Fremont Canyon?
This is tough. UNLV won in Vegas last year by 5 on the last game of the season when they had it right. Now Odom comes in, first year coach, like you mentioned. It's I guess week 7, but the 6th game of the season for both of them. Both of them coming off a bye, giving this game a little respect in that right. I still think UNLV's better. I'm gonna give it to Vegas here.
Going to the
ouch.
Going with
no one in Reno likes me
Odom.
right now.
Yeah.
I got them 1-5. You got them 2-4.
2-4. Now
Lonte, you got them 3-3.
3-3.
Yeah, 3-3.
Okay. Now they head to the Snapper, take on San Diego State. Nobody walks into the Snapper, Patty C, and beats the Aztecs, who might be. I'm expecting them. What a hilarious set of events that we have going on in the landscape of college football, because the San Diego State Aztecs had a deadline to announce whether they were going to leave the Mountain West as July 1st, right? Yeah. So they asked for an extension, which the Mountain West said no, because they're going to have to pay $34 million as opposed to 17. So now when I was at Mountain West Media Day, that was the big storyline, was San Diego State Well, they're speaking about it. They doubled down. They said, no, we're in the Mountain West for years to come. And then, damn, if like 5 days later, Colorado doesn't jump to the Big 12. Right. And now say, like the Pac-12 people are saying like, we got to get San Diego State right now. And San Diego State's like, wait, what the fuck?
San Diego State hates Colorado. So
yes. I mean,
Colorado just cost San Diego State, what, like $20 million?
Well, I think the Mountain West hates Colorado. Mountain West, like, no, they just went to the national championship in basketball. They've been bowling for like 12 straight years. Absolutely hilarious. So by the time this game's played, I'm fully expecting San Diego State to be paying $34 million to exit the Mountain West. But Patty C, I don't think they win in San Diego. But I'll be honest though, Brady Hoke, they're not the same team. When they had Rocky Long, they were super tough. They almost lost to Hawaii last year. They should have lost to Hawaii last year. If it wasn't for like a big kick return with like 40 seconds left, they would have lost that game. I'm still taking San Diego State, but if we're looking for an upset out there, maybe I could talk you into this one.
Yeah, I mean, for the reasons you mentioned, but I think San Diego State's still a significant, way more talented and probably better coached.
Oh, coming at
6-9. Who knows? I don't know a lot about Ken Wilson. We'll see. But last year left a lot to be desired. 6-9 all time against San Diego State. I think I give San Diego State by 7. Yeah,
Lonte, what are you doing here in San Diego?
I'm going with the Aztecs too. I agree with you on the this toughness, but I think they're at home where they're comfortable. They'll be coming off. Nevada will be coming off that big emotional win or loss. Either way, I think it's going to be a win. So I think they'll catch them at a good spot. I think San Diego State can roll them.
And as we know, no one goes into the snapper.
Yeah, no one goes into the snapper and gets a dub. Look, if you're a Nevada fan and you're thinking bowl, if you have them like where Lonte has them right now, your eyes got to light up over the next 2 weeks because you drew. And what's another thing we should talk about? There's no more divisions.
Yep.
So that could be good or bad considering where you think the divisions are best. But the New Mexico Lobos, I think you do want to see them on the schedule because Danny Gonzalez, he's on the hot seat. He's a former Lobo, so maybe they'll be a little more lenient with him because he played there for so long. But this game is a very, very winnable game, October 28th against the Lobos. New Mexico's defense, they were actually kind of mirror images last year. New Mexico's defense was actually good. New Mexico's offense was terrible, much like Nevada. So now you have this matchup. They did not. New
Mexico had the worst offense in college football.
Yeah. And they bring in UAB's former head coach Bryant Vincent
by an actual stunning margin, 228 yards per game. The second worst in college football is Iowa at 251, 30 yards difference.
You see, he brought in though. This is how you can fix it. He brought in UAB's interim head coach. Remember, because so Bryant Vincent, who was UAB's head coach last year.
Yeah. And
they brought in Dylan Hopkins, the QB from UAB. So they're going to be running that UAB offense. Gosh, give me Nevada. Give me this one for Nevada. But I think this is a close game. What are you doing, Lonte, here with this one in Reno?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Nevada too. I think they'll be right around like an 8-9 point favorite here. So, I mean, New Mexico, I don't know. It's gonna be a tough year for them, man. It's gonna be a tough year for them. So I think Nevada can get their win. So give me Nevada to win here.
In Reno in prime time. Come on,
there you go.
Gotta have the Wolfpack.
And once again, I know we were calling for Bronco Mendenhall to be the next head coach of New Mexico. I gotta retract that statement after meeting Danny Gonzalez. I like him. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to, it's different, man. You don't want to see people fired. Well, next week, November 4th, Hawaii, the Rainbow Warriors come to town. Timmy Chang was an offensive coordinator here and a QB coach for Jay Norvell and the Nevada Wolfpack. I was really pleased to see. We knew how bare the situation was in Hawaii last year. The mass exodus. They fired Todd Graham late, so we knew when they hired Timmy Chang that it was a super super big project. And when you watch that Vanderbilt game week 1, you knew Vanderbilt hadn't looked that good ever. All right, and I got to give Timmy Chang credit. I thought that was like the best. Look at the season progression.
Turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, they just became they had zero toughness to start, and by the end of the season, you're like, dude, I don't know how they should have beat San Diego State, and I'm kind of buying into to what Hawaii is doing there. So I am calling for an upset here as he returns to the scene of the crime. Patty C, what are you doing here?
Wait, you're calling for an upset?
Hawaii gets it done.
I don't know if is that an upset?
Yeah, I feel like it's far.
3-10.
Actually, you know what?
2-10.
I'm a little concerned about the temperature. Actually, you know what? No, I'm changing my opinion here because it's November 4th. It's cold as fuck. It's cold as fuck. Reno is cold as fuck.
That's true.
I have been to Reno. I got to think the Hawaii kids are going to be.
I think that might be enough of a factor.
That might be enough of a factor where I think I got to switch now to Nevada.
I'm with you. We'll go. Yep. What's up? We got us at 3 and I've got him at 3. You've got him
I'm
at
4.
I got him at 5. I got him at 5 with a win right here. With a win right
here. Over.
Yeah, I got him over comfortably too. And then we still got a few games left.
Okay, so Lonte's all in on the over, and me and Patty C. No, I have him at. Wait, you have him at 3?
I got him at 3.
3. So you still need a win. I got him pushing at the moment. Next week they head to Logan, Utah to take on Blake Anderson in Utah State. No, I can't. This place gets lit. They have a legit home and fun. This is the Utah State. I've talked about this on the college basketball experience. Like one of the low key racist ass fucking fan bases.
Wait, Utah fans being low key
Utah
racist?
Utah State.
No,
I think people think
people in the state
think,
of Utah.
Yeah.
The Utah Jazz were racist back in the 90s. I feel like the fans, that is.
Yeah.
Anywhere in
the players,
right? Anywhere in Utah, well, Carmelo, for all we know, probably could be. Look, anywhere in the state of Utah,
Clayton Bigsby is Carmelo. That's what you're saying.
I feel like
I can kind of see it. I can kind of see it. But no, dude, Utah State
6 and 7 last year. Didn't you say they had gotten a little soft though? What is it? Blake Anderson.
They had a terrible situation. Like I can't blame them last year. Blake Anderson,
tragedy follows him.
Yeah,
these days.
Obviously his wife passed away from cancer a couple years ago, and then his son committed suicide right before the season. So that's a lot to put on a head coach there. And I think want to send out our love to the Anderson family, but just I think he's a good football coach. Come on, any right human being, any job. I don't think your performance is going to be at the max after some shit like that.
Of course not.
You know what I mean? So I expect Utah State to probably bounce back. It's a tough place to win, man. This is what I was telling you. Was like their fans are fucking crazy. They're insane, right? So I think Utah State gets the dub. What are you doing here?
Yeah. And Logan got to give it to the Aggies.
Lonte, what are you doing here in Logan?
I'm going with Utah State too. I think that home environment will be a little overwhelming, especially coming off of what I perceive to be 2 straight wins. I think that's a good follow spot for Utah State. And I'm not particularly high on Utah State, but I think they'll get it done at home here.
Yeah,
a little letdown for Nevada, maybe.
And then you got this is like the new rivalry. If you're not going to give us UNLV on the final week of the season, give us Colorado State, because after the comments about Jay Norvell and the way he left and taking the whole team, I could animosity.
You know what I want this to be?
What's that?
I mean, Mountain West, we love you, but give me this as a new Pac-12 rivalry.
Oh, yeah, okay. Colorado State, Nevada.
Give me Nevada. Give me Colorado State. Give me UNLV. Boom.
And that gives you 12. You got Pac-12.
Right.
There you go. Right. No San Diego State.
Yeah, they're obvious. They got to come, and Hawaii's got to come. Put me at 14.
There you go. Look, as much as I want to take them, and last year's game was fucking close. It was a lot closer than I thought it would be coming into the year. I'm taking Colorado State to get this dub. Patty?
Yeah, I mean, and I, was basically butting heads with you and Nick. That was our big argument that fizzled completely because no one gave a fuck.
Nick locked up Colorado State. Look, I felt all right about Colorado State. I didn't lock it.
Yeah, okay.
You locked up Nevada. Nick locked up Colorado State. It's up between you guys. Don't drag me into that shit.
I think based on that, I got to lean Colorado State in Fort Collins this year.
Okay, Lonte, what are you doing in Fort Collins, Colorado here?
Yeah, I'm gonna lean to Colorado State also. I think you're gonna get max effort, obviously, from both schools, in a big time environment. It could be a deciding factor for both teams as far as like bowl eligibility or a win to get closer to bowl eligibility. I like Colorado State. Love their quarterback Clay Millen. I think he's like a future NFL. I think he can go to the NFL. 72% of his passes.
His dad played for the New England Patriots. Hugh Millen, Tecmo Bowl player, represent.
Wow.
So
I'm gonna go with Colorado State here, though.
Okay, so you still have him at 5. So to make a bowl, you need one more win.
Yep.
I got him at 4 still, which would be pushing. Patty C still has him at 3. Final game of the season, the Wyoming Cowboys come to town. One thing that struck me from Mountain West Media Day. Now Wyoming, they have a very good coach in Craig Bowl. He won like a shit ton of national championships in North Dakota State. They get rated in the portal every year. Like last season, everybody thought Wyoming was going to be the worst teams. I was like, nope. Craig Bowl, it's a culture, man. The next man up. And when I spoke to him at Mountain West Media Day, he was confident. And I think confident that his team can be contenders in the Mountain West. So coming into it, I didn't think so. I mean, I still thought he'd be overachieving, but he was talking about like, no, I think we can win the championship.
He must have gave Peasley a new arm.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I mean, to have that type of confidence, I was like, okay, so I'm buying in.
Well, they're a good program, 7-6 last year. Some bad losses, but
he's old school. He's like 70 years old. Or he's like 68 years old or something, and his philosophy is not like the current coaches. He's like, you don't want to be here, get the fuck out. All right, like his thing is like, I don't know how long he'll be there, but I'm telling you, he's a good coach, but he does not fuck around on the transfer portal front. He's like, I don't care how good you are. You don't want to be here, go.
Yeah. Hey, I love it. It gave him an upset over Air Force, one of like the few losses they had, where they finished 10-3.
They're a power football team. That's why I fear this matchup for Nevada. Like they will sit there and run the same running play. Like what did Oregon State do to Oregon last year with Jonathan Smith? He ran the same play. He just flipped it left to right 18 different times. Right? Like that's what I feel like. That was beautiful. And I got to take Wyoming here. So I got them on the number at 4-8 to cap off their season. If I had to lean under or over, I had them losing to Idaho. I had them losing to, no, I think Idaho's really only the 50-50 game that I have them losing. So I actually think I lean under. I lean under just because I'm giving them a win against UNLV in New Mexico and Hawaii and Texas State. I don't know that I really buy in that any of those, like they could lose any of those. So
they haven't had under 4 wins in consecutive years since 2001. So this is, as a program, that would be a really bad 2-year stretch for them, historically speaking. But I agree with you. I gotta lean under.
Gotta go under. And Lonte's going over. I like the contrast of styles here. Lonte 5-7 for the season, correct?
Yeah. I'm going 5-7. I think. Well, my thing is, I think they could possibly win 6 if they get an upset. But like you said, I think they have a couple of toss-up games that could go either way. Like I can see them easily losing the Idaho game. I could easily see them losing the UNLV. But again, I only see 4 or maybe 3 absolute losses. Like San Diego State, I think that's a loss. USC, obviously. Kansas, I think those 3 are just for sure losses. And I mean, everything else, San Diego State also. So 4. Everything else, I think, is pretty much a toss up. They could split either way. I'm just going to be a believer in Ken Wilson's second year, the defense. And also another thing is, I mean, they get to avoid Air Force and Boise. They don't play those two on the schedule.
That is very nice. That is very nice.
And they get their like must-win games. They get them at home. Like they're going to get New Mexico at home. They get Hawaii at home. They get
UNLV.
Yeah, they get UNLV at home. Like those are 3 and Idaho also. So those are 4 winnable games. So if they can win those 4, I think that gives you a push right there. And then you just got to spring an upset somewhere. And I think they could possibly do it. So I'll lean to the over with that.
There we go. And look, let me ask you this, guys. If you see him go 4-8 or 5, let's say 4-8, like you said, those 4 wins, are you happy with the progression? If you're a Nevada fan, you're saying, hey, we had 2 the first year, 4 or 5 the second year. Are we happy?
You're happy
with the progression?
With the
you're
product.
doubling up your win total.
You got to be happy with some progress, but you're certainly not content with the 4-8 season at Nevada. They've proven they're way better than that as a program. State flagship, of a pretty pretty big state these days.
Growing state.
Look, an air raid team that throws more interceptions than touchdowns, that can't continue. So a lot of this is going to be on Brendon Lewis.
Yep.
If he is the man that can trigger this offense and make it go, you got to expect a big jump here.
Let's go. Look, we're on the under. Me and Patty C. Lonte's on the over. I was on the flat number, but I'm not just gonna say they're gonna win 4 games. You got to say under or over, and I think it's more likely they go 3-9 than 5-7. Don't feel great about it. You probably won't hear it on. You definitely probably won't hear it on the Locks episode. But look, before we get out of here, I had a chance to sit down with Michael Barker, aka College Football Campus Tour. If you're wondering who the hell that is, that's a guy that I think I introduced him, so I guess we can go from there. But this guy goes to every college football game, and this guy,
he's the greatest man alive.
He's definitely. It's impressive what he does, and he documents it all. So with no further ado, here is that interview with Michael Barker. Joining me on the College Football Experience Nevada Wolfpack 2023 season preview episode is none other than Michael Barker, aka College Football Campus Tour, on Twitter at CFB Campus Tour. Michael runs an unbelievable page, folks. And let me just, before I introduce him, I really just urge you folks out there to follow his page, because if you love college football, it's a fascinating page to me. He goes to like 5, 6, 7 games a week, documents all of his travels and what it goes. It's like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, the movie, but regarding college football. He's been to every FBS stadium, most of the FCS, a lot of D2, a lot of D3, and he documents it all on his page. The history of the stadium, photo of the game. It's just absolutely a cool follow if you love college football. So get on over to Twitter and check him out at CFB Campus Tour. Michael, I appreciate you hopping on the show to talk a little Mackay Stadium.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And anybody that jumps on my Twitter page, no personal tweets, okay? It's all football. So if you like that, then you'll enjoy it. And, I live in the West Coast. Reno is kind of close, so excited to talk about Mackay.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember this stadium for love the fact that it's like kind of up in the mountains and cold, even though I've never been there. I just remember, like, to me when I first started watching college football, this is another one that would come on late at night on a local TV, and like they had this wide receiver named Alex Van Dyke that was really, really fucking good. And then they were running like the pistol offense, which Chris Alt, created way before. Now you see variations of it everywhere, but it was just kind of they were really good. Whether I think they were FCS or 1AA then, and then they made that transition and came up. But then I remember the Boise game, and they ruined Boise's season, which was probably Boise's kicker missed a field goal and an extra point in overtime, or they would have had a perfect season. It's just a cool place. I remember the Purdue game where the kicker makes like a 60-yarder to win. Talk to me about the history of Mackay Stadium.
Yeah, first Alex Van Dyke, drafted by the Jets, I believe. So the little Colt reference there. Opened in 1966 with 7,500 seats, and it has jumped up to 27,000 over the years. Record crowd, actually, because they got some standing room in one of the end zones, 33,391, 1995 versus UNLV. You mentioned it being up in the mountains. The elevation is 4,610, so almost a mile up there. It's named after the father-son combination, John and Clarence Mackay, who donated the money to build the stadium. And the most memorable game, you're talking about it, was 2010, Boise State, 34-31 in overtime. What a lot of people don't remember, they think it's a big upset, but which it was. But Nevada was ranked number 19 in the nation, and they had Colin Kaepernick there, and one of the best dual threat quarterbacks that we had seen in years. And so Boise State probably had their best team, and they caught a loss, but they didn't lose to a team that was 2-7. They lost to a really good team. So probably the most memorable game in Mackay history.
Yeah, and I mean that game was fantastic. I remember exactly where I was. You have certain games in your life that you're watching that you remember exactly where you were, and that I can tell exactly where I was then. But one of the things that I love, and I want I want to talk about your experiences here, but they got to move. The Mountain West is failing, in my opinion. The Nevada UNLV game should be the final week of the season every year. That's not currently. I don't know why. But I love that game, and I love the fact they still play for that gigantic trophy, like the Fremont Trophy or something, where it's just a fucking cannon on wheels. It's super cool. My problem is whoever's in charge of the Mountain West over the past 5 years or something has moved this to like a random like week 5 matchup. I want that thing, the final game of the year, where rivalries matter, because I think there's a chippiness. I've talked to people at UNLV or up in Reno, and they don't like each other, and I dig the rivalry, and I hope they will they figure this thing out, because anytime you're playing for a cool trophy like that. And so how many times have you been to Mackay Stadium? And I'm curious your thoughts on my trophy idea.
Yeah, no. So, they're the only 2 FBS schools in Nevada. There's no FCS schools in Nevada. So these are the only 2 Division I schools in the state. And, the Pac-12, they did some rearranging, and Cal and Stanford was not the last game of the season. And nobody likes that. The big game, whatever the rivalry game, it should be the end of the year. And, just whatever record you have during the season, you can end your season on a good note by winning that rivalry game. So I'm totally with you. I've been to one game there, and it was in my first year traveling, 2017. And I got all these exclamation points here for these stats because it was crazy, but freezing cold. I remember I was in my, infancy of traveling. I had a light little California jacket, and security guards were laughing at me that I was going to be cold, and they were correct. I was freezing the entire game. It was 45-42 overtime. So of course, overtime prolongs your coldness, but what was amazing to me is that Air Force ran for 550 yards on 91 carries. And they had the time of possession 41 minutes, 20 seconds. And Nevada had it for 18:40. And Nevada still scored 42 points with 18 minutes and 48 time of possession. So this is like Super Bowl 25, Giants-Bills duplication, 41 minutes to 19 time of possession. But 91 carries. I just remember it just being a battering ram over and over. And somehow they withstood it in Nevada and put up 42 points in 18 minutes of time possession. So I'm looking for a chance. I might actually go for a campus visit this weekend because I haven't been up there for a while. But I'm definitely looking for an opportunity. My account has evolved. My travels have evolved since 2017. I want to get back up there, but I will never forget that game.
Yeah, I mean, that's unbelievable. Oh man, I'm curious. So wait, did Air Force won the game?
Air Force won with a field goal in overtime, but 91 carries, 550 yards,
unbelievable.
41 minutes of time possession. Threw a touchdown, ran off the field, and got back on. It was crazy.
Unbelievable, folks. That's why you should follow Michael Barker, because he goes to all these games, and look at that experience right there. He's on Twitter at CFB Campus Tour, folks. And you can also watch this on YouTube, youtube.com/The College Experience. Michael, I appreciate you hopping on the show, and hopefully one day we can meet up at Mackay Stadium and catch a Nevada Wolfpack game, man.
Yeah, and after it, hit downtown Reno. There's a lot to do. So hopefully we can make that happen.
There we go, man. I appreciate you hopping on, man.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, Michael Barker there. And look, I mean, Patty C, 94 carries, was that? Did you say 91 or 94? Either way, that is a lot. And wow, I mean, what a
91 carries. That is a lot.
Those poor linebackers for Nevada.
Oh, yeah. That's Northwestern football right there.
Yeah, Air Force
cold
football, right?
And, I know they're in the Northwest.
Northwestern. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're getting, that's mountain football, I should say.
Mountain football, folks.
Mountain West.
Look, I'm on the under. Patty C is on the under. Lonte is on the over. I think Lonte had to head out, but look, folks, give Lonte a follow on Twitter at XXLonteXX.
XXLONTEXX.
Yeah, I guess I should have spelled out the whole thing. But look, he's the host of you hear him on the NBA Gambling Podcast. You'll hear him on the MLB Gambling Podcast. He does a lot of great written content as well. Give him a follow. Always cool to check out his stuff and have him on the show. First time on the show, Patty C.
Yeah, buddy.
Look, it's gonna be fun to watch the Wolfpack, but let's get the season going because I can't wait, folks. Subscribe to the College Football Experience as we break down all 133 college football teams. So check out that and solo podcast for each and every team in the land. And I think the under is the play. Hopefully Ken Wilson proves me wrong. He's a Coach Leach guy. We like that. Give Patty C a follow on Twitter at PattyC831. Give myself a follow on Twitter at the Colby D. The College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. And folks, check out the Sports Gambling Podcast as we got Phil Steele coming on the show this upcoming week. Go check out that episode as we talk college football with one of the GOATs, they say. Patty C, what else, man? Let's talk about the SGPN app. It's free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. And come talk Nevada Wolfpack with us in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Folks, until next time, this is the College Football Experience, Nevada Wolfpack style. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot.